yesterday we talked about this thing. Well, we had like numbers of tiles was equal to the first differences, which we also called slope. What slope? Or rate of change, right? These were all the same thing. They were all equal, like the same words, right? And then we multiplied that against whatever stage number we were in. And then at the very end, we added in, well, I'm out of room here. Here, I'm going to move this over. At the very end, we added in plus the constant. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly don't want to write that every single time I do one of these questions. That's just brutal. You know what I mean? And so we came up with a way to condense this into a much easier way to write, and it's something you guys would have seen before. It's called y equals mx plus b, right? And what we did is we associated each of these words with just a letter, if you will, right? The stage number we called x, and that's the x from a table of values, which we'll see. We're going to actually do this again with the visual patterns, just going to recap it, okay? Then we saw first differences, there's slope, rate of change, okay? And what this is going to do is going to hopefully lock in what is what, so that you guys don't mix up the starting value or the, that was the other thing yesterday, we called the constant the starting value. I know I've been using that term this morning already. Okay, all those things are the same. Okay? And so when I see a line, and we're calling it a line written in the form y equals mx plus b. If you're in the academic, you saw a different form yesterday in the second lesson, right? Or the third lesson, sorry, yesterday. Okay? And what I like to do every single time I see one of these questions, even to this day sometimes, so they don't make this mistake, I write on top of here or below, you just say y equals mx plus b, right? And once I do that, I'm able to identify, all right, m is 3 and b, oh, I'm going to use the same colors here. Sorry, one sec. M, we use the magenta. M is 3 and b is -2. And then you just say, okay, well, what is b? B is, oh yeah, it's the constant or the starting value. Where's the starting value? Well, it's right here on -2. Right? Because that's what b said it is, -2. What is the other thing that I need? I need to see how is the graph, hello Nathan, how is the graph going to move around? Right? And so that's m. That's your first differences from the visual patterns. It's the slope, it's the rate of change, it's how things are moving around, right? And so when I see a number like this, we also talked about yesterday that we could always take anything and divide it by 1. That doesn't change anything. Okay? And m, I learned this, well, somebody taught me this association, one of the students actually in my last class. M is for movement. Okay? It's how we actually move around on the graph. The slope. Well, it's telling you, the 3/1 is telling you to go up 3 and then right 1. Okay? So you're starting your starting point. It's called the starting point for a reason. I'm starting here. And then I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then to the right 1. Right? And then you're going to do it again. You're just going to keep doing it until you run out of space. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 1. Right? You're out of space. Now, we also said yesterday we could connect those dots, no problem. But that's just half the graph, right? I haven't necessarily finished the entire graph because, well, what does it look like down here in this part? Well, it turns out that the opposite to going up 3, right 1, would to be go down 3, left 1. Right? And then you put the signs on there. That looks like this. -3 over -1. Well, a negative divided by a negative, that's still, like if you were to look at that, that's still 3 over 1, because the negatives will cancel. But what it does is it allows you to fill in the back half of this graph. Back in here, right? By going, all right, you're just going to do exactly what it says. You're going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then to the left 1. And then you do it again. 1, 2, 3, and left 1. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3, and then left 1. And that's as far as you guys can go. Right? You're off the grid. Okay, this is what I kind of expect. And it's not that I expect to see that. I expect to see it because I know what's coming. You guys might not necessarily know what's coming, but you're going to need to know how to do that. Right?
How'd you draw that straight of a line?
On my iPad lets me do it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But on Jamboards, if I'm just gonna go on Nathan's here. Okay, I'll draw Nathan's line here in red. Okay, if I hold the Shift key on your keyboard, it will allow you to go like this. I'll start it up here, right where Nathan's is. And if I hold the Shift key, it just draws a straight line. Okay, so I can see that when I do this and I extend it backwards through all of Nathan's points, boom. If I look here, I go down 1, down 2, down 3, sorry, that was a little bit off, and then left 1. There's the next point. Okay, everybody can see that? I learned that yesterday, because otherwise I was doing what you guys were doing yesterday, right? Okay, now, some of you are a little bit further ahead. I want you guys, yeah, this looks alright, guys. Hey, let's take 2 minutes here. I want you guys to plot the second one. Okay? That's good, Brandon. You're in the right spot, buddy. Now you just got to figure out how do you move around. Right? Just watch. Careful, Brandon. Just you're gonna go down 2, and then only go right 1. You're just a little bit. I like Jamboards. This is kind of cool, actually. It'll fix you guys on the fly. You guys can see it. Yeah, let's move that graph over 1, Branson. Starts here on 3. Starts there on 3 because it's positive 3, okay? Some of you are hiding in the later slides, I think. They come find you. Nope, nobody. That's it, Branson. I think that, yeah, you're just a touch off. Just watch when you go down 2, right? This is down 2, and then to the right 1. You're going to go down 2, and then right 1. You got to go right there, buddy, right on the grid line. Okay? Lydia and Y, or Lida and Y. Let's go. You could do this one here, guys. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Just been bouncing around through here. That's good, guys. Okay? If there's anything that you're going to write down, if you need to, well, it looks like some of you are okay. This to me, this changed the way that I approach teaching lines, right? Is this right here, this big ugly thing that nobody wants to write. It's good that nobody wants to write it, because that teaches you the importance of what this is and why we write it that way, right? It's so much nicer and shorter, right? But I still, like, I'll do it with the more complicated questions too, where I go like this. I just write the general one on top, and I'm able to identify from that. Okay, my starting value, I did use the right color. My starting value is at positive 3 this time, and my slope is at it's negative 2 this time. Right, so I should expect all my lines to be negative. What it looks, how steep or where it is, they better look like this. They're negative, right? You're trying to get a picture of the graph, right? So you're like, okay, well, where do I start on this grid? I start at the 3, right? And then M is for movement. How do I move around? Well, it's telling me that I'm going to move down 2 and to the right 1. 1, 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. You just keep going until you can't go anymore. I say keep going until you can't go anymore because you guys will see this afternoon when you watch the video. It'll make sense. Ooh, I was a little bit off. That's okay. Okay, and then the opposite, right? So what I did here, I'll write on top. I went down 2, right 1. The opposite to going down and to the right would be to go up 2 and to the left 1. 1, 2, 1. Alright? That's graphing line, guys. That's so... It's not that it's the most important thing in the world, but it's going to conceptually lock in like something that we're going to do after. Okay? You have to be able to fill in both halves, because without creating a spoiler alert, you might need this half of the graph this afternoon. Okay, so we have to be able to do the opposite of whatever it's telling us to do. Okay? Alright. So, I'm going to stop that one there too.